When she was 9 years old, impoverished and living in Romania, a Kitchener mother of 3 received a gift that changed her life. Last month, she boarded a plane headed for West Africa to share that gift with hundreds of children, hoping that it would touch their lives the way that it moved her so many years ago. In the early 1990s, Damaris was living in a small town in Romania. The communist dictatorship of Nicolae Ceausescu had just come to an end. One day, shortly before Christmas, an aid agency arrived in her town handing out gifts, shoeboxes from Operation Christmas Child, which were filled with toys and candy.
Just looking at the gifts, I thought we would have to share. I thought there was a gift, one per family, and that would have been okay. We were used to sharing.
But each child got their own shoebox. Damaris says receiving that gift changed her outlook on life.
I could not understand how a stranger would give such things. And then my first thought was, wow, how can they give something so beautiful and so pretty? And what makes someone give?
At 16, Damaris and her family immigrated to Canada. A few years later, she found herself volunteering at the Operation Christmas Child packing warehouse in Waterloo region. Now, she was the one sending shoeboxes to children in need.
I represent the millions of children that nobody gets to see and thank them and hug them. And on their behalf, I would like to say thank you.
A few weeks ago, Damaris boarded an airplane headed for Senegal in West Africa, where she joined a group of volunteers who handed out shoeboxes to children there. This is the 20th year for the project, with Canadians contributing more than 600,000 gift-filled boxes last year alone. And joining us in our studio now are Damaris and Jeff Adams with Samaritans Purse Canada. Damaris, how did you come to be part of this group that went to Senegal in September of this year?
Well, it was really when you called me, Jeff, and invited me over to participate in this trip.
So, Jeff, why did you want Damaris involved?
Well, we had learned her story, and that was, growing up in Romania during very difficult times, receiving a shoebox, and then eventually making her way to Canada. And we just thought it was a wonderful way to close the circle and give her a chance to sort of give it forward and help someone else.
When you hand out these shoeboxes, it is a colossal effort every year. Give us a scope on the number of boxes that you pack and distribute and how many countries you visit.
Well, our goal this year in Canada is about over 700,000 boxes. Last year we did about 642,000. That's in Canada. Worldwide, the contributions of other countries will eventually this year give out over 9 million boxes. There's been 103 million given out since the program began in 20 years ago.
Okay, so that's quite a few boxes, isn't it?
It's huge, and the logistics of getting them spread all around the world is significant.
Damaris, when you got your shoebox many years ago when you were 9 years old in Romania, can you recall what was in that box?
For sure I can. There was a porcelain doll, some soap, hair clips, coloring items, and my special item that was in there was a notebook that I keep to this day.
What did it mean for you to receive that shoebox?
That shoebox was very special, and it told me that someone loved me enough to pack a shoebox for me, and that made all the difference.
Yeah, could you imagine that somebody halfway around the world had done this just for you?
No, I couldn't, but I was so amazed to have received such an amazing gift.
Now, you did an interesting thing. You and your family packed your own shoeboxes, didn't you?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, what did you put inside them?
We put teddy bears, coloring items, notebooks, soap and toothbrushes, and of course a notebook.
Okay, so you personally took these over to Senegal. Tell me what happened when you handed these out.
Yes, I did. I took the box my kids packed to Senegal, and I was excited to see the expression on the kids' faces, and it was really, I felt like I was 9 again. And I felt more joyful to see, these children and give them the gift.
Yeah, so this time around you were looking at the whole experience through a different lens. You were the donor. So how did you feel about that?
I felt very happy and overwhelmed to be able to do this, what someone had done for me, to give in love to other
Now,
children.
Jeff, there are many charities and NGOs out there that are in the developing world helping out. What is the value in giving out a shoebox to a child?
Well, a big part of it is just that it's a personal gift to that particular child. Over and over, and we experienced this again in Senegal, when you ask the children, what gifts have you received before in your lives? And often they might use an example. Maybe 2 years ago they got an orange for Christmas, or they got a pair of socks. That's all they've ever received that ever belonged to them. And so it's very significant that we're able to give them school supplies, which in many cases allows them to begin going to school. Because up until then, if they didn't have a notepad or a pen, they were turned away. They couldn't be in a classroom.
And when you get into some of these communities with the shoeboxes, that leads to other projects.
Absolutely. One of the things that it often opened doors for us to identify other needs in consultation with local community leaders that we can address in that community. So for example, on the Senegal trip, we went and visited a project, an agricultural project we're involved in there, and we visited another one where we're helping street kids so they don't have to beg in the streets anymore.
Now, this is a Christian organization, Samaritans Purse, but you're non-denominational?
Very much so, non-denominational, and also the boxes are given out to any child. Doesn't matter what their faith background is or anything else.
And you'll be at it again this year?
Absolutely. Our goal, as I said earlier, over 700,000 boxes, and so our collection week is November 18 to 24, and that's the week when we really collect them from all over the country, including for the processing center here in this area and another one in Calgary, and for the first time one in the GTA as well.
Okay, so in Waterloo region, this is a major collection area, isn't it?
Absolutely. The boxes that are collected and processed or expected here are from Central Canada and also from Atlantic Canada.
Now, Damaris, did you ever imagine back in the early 1990s when you got a box that at some point you'd be the one handing out the boxes?
No, I had no idea that just one shoebox would just totally change my life that way.
Now, when you got home, what did you tell your kids about the experience?
That we have to do this. We so much have to continue doing this because one shoebox is not enough for one child, or three boxes are not enough. We got to do more. Just handing out these shoe boxes, it made me want to bless other children.
Well, Damaris and Jeff, I want to thank you both very much for telling us about your story.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.